قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Zad, coming to you every Sunday at 4 o'clock here in Mecca region. As usual, we'll begin directly with our callers. So we have on the line Brother Harun from Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, basically I would like to know, is it permissible for me to download videos off of YouTube using third-party websites, considering that YouTube has it in its privacy policy forbidding any sort of downloading? I just want to download, for example, Nasheed or Quran, so I can have it in my car without needing internet for watching the videos and stuff like this.
Wallahi, this is an issue that some say it's ethical and others say that it is not. And to me, it seems that this is permissible because they are putting policies according to their own preferences, not to my consent. So as long as I'm not harming anyone, there's no problem, inshallah, in doing that, as long as I'm not violating anybody's copyright or taking money that is not lawful for me. I hope, inshallah, that there's nothing prohibited in that, especially if it's something like Quran, which is Allah's words. There is nothing wrong in that, and Allah knows best. Sulayha from India.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. How can I help you today?
My question is, my mother is not a good person. She slanders about each other and everyone in our family. She lies and tries to create enmity among family members. She has tried to separate her children from their spouses many times. Even after multiplied Islamic lessons from us, she never ever listens, does not pray, and does shirk. Due to those, no one wants to stay with her. In my family, I am married. My husband takes care of her, and even though I fulfill my duties to her, but how far should I maintain relation with her?
Everyone has a test in life. Some are tested with cancer. Others are tested with insecurity, having bombs falling on their heads day and night. Others are persecuted because of their religion, like our brothers and sisters, the Rohingya and the Uyghur in China. Others are tested with famine or drought or starvation, etc. So everyone has his own tailor-made test from Allah Azza wa Jal. Your test is in your mother. Someone who's evil, someone who does bad things, despite the fact that you've tried your level best among others to advise her and bring her back to the straight path, but to no avail. What to do? You have nothing other than to be dutiful and respectful without harming yourself, your spouse, or your children. So keep on trying your level best to help her from a distance if this may cause trouble for you and your family, but still you have to be dutiful to her, and sooner or later this has to come to an end, either by her death, by your death, or by her guidance. You never know. Keep on making dua to Allah to guide her to the straight path and to rectify her affairs, and Allah Azza wa Jal is most forgiving, most merciful. Yusuf from Egypt.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
My question is, my dad or I don't me and my mom, they got an idol in my house that it's like a Greek idol that people worshipped back then, and still some people worship it. So I searched it up. Is it permissible for me to open the door and close it, keeping in mind that there's a keychain in with my mom that has a cross on it? So am I assisting in shirk if I open and close it, the door of the house?
No, of course not. There is no assistance in that. It's like saying, is there any assistance of shirk if I breathe the air around it? So should I refrain from breathing until I suffocate and die? Nobody says this. And opening and closing the door has no direct correlation or relationship with this idol or that cross. It has nothing to do that you're entering the room, you're exiting the room, you're admitting people in or out. You're not assisting idol worshippers to come and worship it. So these are two different things. Try to give advice with fair preaching and wisdom. May Allah Azza wa Jal open their hearts and guide them to the straight path. Faiz from Singapore.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is it true that Sarah was oppressing Hagar to the point that Hagar need to cover her tracks from Sarah?
I don't understand your question, Faiz.
There's a hadith that says that Hagar covered her tracks from Sarah or something because she was afraid of Sarah, if I'm not mistaken.
I have no idea. I was not there at the time, and I do not recall such a hadith where Hagar, the mother of Ismail, was afraid from Sarah, the mother of Isaac or Ishaq, peace be upon them, and to the extent that she used to cover her tracks. I don't know. This fear of Hagar might be something personal, not due to any oppression or aggression from Sarah's part. Maybe this is what she felt, and she hid her tracks because she was afraid, not because there was something bad being plotted or done by Sarah. And either way, the jealousy does exist between the co-wives, and we know that. So there is a possibility, but it's not beneficial for us to go down that lane and discuss things we have no knowledge of. Providing that the hadith is authentic, I don't know. I have not looked into the hadith, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Humon from Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm asking on the behalf of Human. He's not here, but he write down the question. His question is, in anger, I told my wife to leave after the baby will born. She had miscarriage now, and yesterday I angrily told her to leave and said, this is the last time. Remember, I start to packing to leave home, but I didn't leave home. I called her father. I told him why your daughter is doing this. I don't want to divorce her. Try to explain her. When I said those words, I had no intention of divorce. I was angry. That's why I say so. Are those previous statements count as a divorce? And please, Sheikh, can you advise my wife? I was bad before. I don't provide for her and took money. But now I changed and try my level best. But she always drag the past and start argument, and that end up like this.
Issues of divorce cannot be solved through a third party. First of all, it has to be solved directly with the one in charge, and that is the husband himself. He has to be the one who comes and asks a question. He doesn't know English. He should go to the area responsible for ifta in his country and tell them exactly what had happened, and they will give him the Islamic verdict. But lots of manipulation and covering and hiding and changing the story takes place when it is told either by the wife or by a third party. So this is not a logical thing, to do. Now you, the husband, said that you did not provide and you took money and you cheated and lied in the past. Every action has consequences. What do you expect her to do when you physically and mentally and financially abuse her? She's not a charity organization to stay with you. Show me something that is positive in you that would call her to stay in such a relationship. If you repented, have you returned the money? Have you written a document with witnesses testifying that this amount of money is a debt and you're going to give her for the previous years that she's been with you and you did not provide for her? If not, then again, I don't see any reason why she should stay with you unless there are other circumstances that we may look into later on. Salman from India.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, my question is, when my mom reverted, she missed her very first Ramadan fast because of wrong advice from a non-Muslim doctor. So you told her to make up this fast. Now she has completed all her missed fast. But the problem is, in some of her fast, she followed the timing provided by a local masjid. This masjid follows the Islamic Finder timetable. The problem with this timetable is that it is already mentioned in their website that they have delayed Fajr and Maghrib by 1 minute to be on the safe side to start the prayer. So in some fast, my mom actually kept on drinking water when the Fajr time already started by 1 minute. I told her to complete the suhoor meal few minutes before Fajr to be on the safe side, but she might have forgot and or she did not listen, I don't know. She does not have a count of the number of this fast. So what to do with this fast? And Sheikh, please pray for my father that he accepts Islam. And you are going all other countries but not coming to India. So I request you to come to India once and have a lecture session or something like that. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Wa jazakum. As for your mother, she has done her duty and followed the local masjid. So there's nothing wrong in what she had done because she is obliged to follow the masjid. Whether the masjid follows the Islamic Finder or some other app or they do it on their own, they're accountable on the Day of Judgment. So all of her fasts are valid and there is no problem and she doesn't have to make up any day, inshallah. As for your father, I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that He guides his heart to Islam and that He expands his chest and fills it with Iman and that He guides him to rectify his affairs with what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala according to the law of Islam. Sumayya from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah wa barakatuh.
So my question is, I have this problem in the salah and it is OCD, I know, but it's a feeling of fear and anxiety that I have in my heart whenever I'm praying. And this feeling interferes with my recitation and I forget what verse I was on and it really confuses me and I think a lot inside the salah and sometimes my head hurts inside the salah. So I don't know how to fix this problem. If I ignore which verse should I recite from, I really don't know. I'm confused.
First of all, you have one of two courses. Either to keep on fighting this wiswas and OCD and ignore it, or you leave salah. And of course, the latter is unthinkable. Leaving salat means that you've abandoned Islam. And this is exactly what shaitan is targeting. Why are you having OCD? Who's the cause and the perpetrator behind this? It's shaitan. It's Satan. All what he wants to confuse you, to distract you, to make you lose the sweetness of salat, to make you suffer and feel that prayer is a burden. You just want to get rid of it. And every time you have these whispers and get carried away with them, shaitan claps, is very happy, he's very pleased with you. The bad news is that Allah is angry with you because you are the cause of it. You're allowing shaitan to come in and to creep into your head and to mess up your thoughts. If you were to depend on Allah, rely on Him, make dua in sujood, oh Allah, protect me from such whispers and OCD, Allah would have done that for you. Besides, what is a pillar in salat is Fatiha. So if you recite the Fatiha and you recite something afterwards and you get confused, go for ruku', skip it. Just pray Fatiha, don't pray anything else. Is my prayer valid? 100%. Reciting a surah or a verse or more of the Quran after the Fatiha is voluntary. It's not mandatory. So what counts is the Fatiha. You do that and give it a shot, supplicating to Allah in sujood to protect you and to cure this illness of yours, blocking all such thoughts and whispers from shaitan, because you know it's from shaitan. That's strange. You know your enemy is telling you to do this, and you're adhering to him and listening to him. Whose fault is it? Definitely yours. Yunus from Germany. Yunus?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
So, Sheikh, I searched in Arabic, in English, maybe for hours. I sent a question to Islam Q&A, so on. I didn't find an answer. I do not know who to ask after you. So my mom cooks with nutmeg. It's like 1 teaspoon per week or so, and I removed the nutmeg. So she did it in the past. But what remains is these very small trays. It's unstable. You can't notice them on the plates, like 0.1 grams or so. And I heard that one wine drop in food is too much. So if we say nutmeg is not najis, and it's cooked in a pot, and then the pot is wiped with a towel. If it was najis, it would still be najis. Do I have to remove every single trace like I would do with najasa, or is like this unseeable amount excused? I hope it's clear.
It is clear, Akhi. Those who say that nutmeg is prohibited due to being an intoxicant, they do not say that it is najis. The issue of whether wine is najis or not is an issue of dispute. And great scholars of Islam stated that it is not najis physically, because there is no ayah or hadith that states that it is najis physically. The ayah that stated that it is rijs, also with it in the ayah was mentioning gambling and drawing the lots and the idols, and these are not physically najis. So it has to be spiritually najis, sentimentally najis, but not physically. And among this, the evidences that some scholars have used was the hadith of Anas, when the prohibition of wine was revealed in the Quran. All the companions poured it on the streets of Medina, and the Prophet did not tell them, alayhi salatu wasalam, to avoid walking on the streets or to cleanse their shoes before praying because of its impurity or najasa. Therefore, coming back to nutmeg, even the scholars who say that it is intoxicant, they say that hashish or cannabis, whether marijuana or hash or whatever, or pot, they say that physically it's not najis. If I touch it, I don't have to go and wash my hands before prayer, because there is no impurity in it physically. Therefore, what you have done is sufficient, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Saad from India.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
So I was in my mother's hometown a few months ago, which is more than 100 kilometers, which is a traveling distance, obviously. And I visit it in like every 2 to 3 years. In this case, if I prayed or lead the prayer, like as if I am a traveler, which means 2 rakahs for the prayer, is the prayer of me or my followers valid? Like basically, I am asking that was I a traveler in that case because I visit it frequently?
Visiting it every 2 to 3 years is not frequently. Visiting it every couple of days is frequently, first of all. Second of all, if it is considered to be a traveling distance, because 100 kilometers sometimes can be in the same city. So if it's in the same city, as in Mumbai, for example, then this is not traveling. This is going to the outskirts or the suburbs, and this is not traveling. But if it's considered among the locals to be a traveling distance, and that when they go to that area, they usually pack and bid farewell to their relatives. In this case, what you've done is correct, and that is shortening the 4 rak'ah prayers of Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha, and skipping the sunnah of Dhuhr, Maghrib, and Isha. But if you were to lead the locals there, you would pray 2 rak'ahs, and they would, after you offer salam, stand up to offer their 3rd and 4th rak'ah, because they cannot shorten. They're not offering, they're not travelers. While if you were to pray behind a local, you would be obliged to complete your prayer and pray 4, because your imam is praying 4, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah, we'll be right back.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm going to talk about the book Interactions of the Greatest Leader. Today's topic is poverty. Poverty in Islamic legislation refers to lacking or falling short of basic necessities. So, anyone who does not have a quantity that satisfies him and his family is considered in poverty and among the destitute. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam fed the trial of riches for his nation more than he fed for poverty. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "By Allah, it is not poverty about which I fear for you, but I fear in your case that riches may be given to you as were given to those who had gone before you, and that you begin to vie with one another for them as they vied for them, and that they may destroy you as they destroyed them." This hadith was reported by Al-Bukhari and also in Majmu' al-Fatawa.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back. We have Brother Abdul Rahman from the US.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Shaykh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shaykh, my question today is, let's say you have a store where you sell cutlery items like tools and kitchen tools and the likes, such as a corkscrew, or as they call it, a wine opener. Would it be permissible to sell something like that when you know like 99% chances they're using it for wine bottles, because no such other drinks use corks anymore? Jazakallah khair.
Wajazak. I don't see anything wrong in selling cork openers, because there are other things and other bottles that use corks, if not in the US, in other countries, where they use it with olive oil and the likes. So the device itself is halal. What you use it for is what makes what you use it for, halal or haram. So if a person refrains from selling knives and his justification is that there might come a thug and use this knife to kill people, this is not a justifiable reason, because you can say the same about water, selling bottles of water to people that they may use to make ice cubes to drink with their scotch. So, no, you can't go so far overboard, because the device itself can be used in so many things, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Mazhar from India.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah. In the subcontinent where I stay, when one's daughter has reached puberty, the parents of the daughter throw a grand party, publicize everybody that the daughter has gone puberty. This particular practice is being followed by a lot of non-Muslims. I just want to have your idea on that.
This is immodest, and the Jews have this for boys when they reach the age of puberty. And maybe the Hindus have it, I don't know. But it is immodest when you announce such a thing that normal girls at this age would be bashful and shy to say. And you throw a party of that? This is totally not ethical and not a good thing to do. And I would believe that it is more of something prohibited, because it's not part of our religion, it's not part of our culture, and it's an immodest thing as well, and Allah knows best. Sayyid from Singapore.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, so before I proceed on to my main question for tonight, I would like to make one additional comment about the question that I've asked you last night. First of all, Jazakumullah khair for your answer to my question last night. But actually, the question was not about changing my name per se, but it's only adopting an alias, whereby I still keep my real name, but at the same time, I adopted an additional name, which is called an alias.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my additional.
The answer, Sayyid, the answer is the same. I will take your second question in few seconds, but my answer was the same. I was not referring to your father's name or your grandfather or your family name, because this is a major sin and a reason of being cursed. No, changing your name to another alias name. My name is Asim. I want to change my name into Abdullah. No problem. It's halal. Changing the first name is halal. My issue was changing your Arabic Islamic name into, if I recall, Anthony or David or Peter. Why? With all the easy names in Islam that can be easily pronounced, you chose that name. That was my answer. So your question.
Is that my question for tonight is that there's this particular masjid where I patronize every Friday for my Jumu'ah prayer, which is within a walking distance away from my workplace. And every time upon reaching the entrance of the masjid, I always came across this particular employee or a volunteer of the masjid, whereby every time when I wanted to give salam or even shake his hand, he does not budge. And this is not the first time he did so. So in the future, if I happen to come across the very same employee or the volunteer of the masjid, can I choose not to say assalamu alaikum to him?
Okay, so your question is about him refusing to shake hands or even to reply the salam?
Yeah, that's right, precisely.
He's actually doing what? Not replying to your salam?
Okay, so basically, when I say assalamu alaikum, okay, and then he did not reply, even though he knew that I say Assalamu alaikum to him. And then when I wanted to extend my hands to him to shake his hand, he does not budge.
Okay, okay, I got your question. So first of all, what to do with people who keep on not replying to our salam? Keep on giving them salam. Who are you giving salam to? Because Allah ordered you to begin with the salam. And if that individual does not reply to your salam, Allah will appoint an angel who would say to you, wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What else? And what more would any of us would like better than an angel to supplicate with Allah's greetings and mercy and blessing upon you? So who cares what he says? Every time you go, you say Assalamu alaikum with a big smile and hope that he doesn't reply so that the angel replies. Don't extend your hand to shake hands with him because you know that he's going to reject that. Now, why is he doing this? Option number one, this is what I always tell myself. He's a retard. There's something wrong with his mind. So he's mentally challenged. I wouldn't pay attention to someone who's not sane. Option two, he may think of you as an innovator or a non-Muslim, or meaning that this man can be from the Khawarij, giving you takfir. He may have problems with his wife and children that are depressing him and that are blocking his vision. He can't see, he can't think properly. So I feel sorry for him. There might be many, many other reasons, but I seriously don't care. I wouldn't allow this to get under my skin. Rather, I would do it for the sake of Allah with a big smile on my face and brush it off and move on. If someone doesn't reply to my salam, I haven't lost anything. On the contrary, Allah appoints an angel to reply to my salam, and this is makes me a winner, and Allah knows best. Abdu from the US.
Alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, my question is, if someone does an act of kufr, knowing that it's kufr and like having iman in his heart, but he does it out of desire, does this take him out of the fold of Islam?
Give me an example.
Like for an example, he indulges in like comedy that is making fun of the religion, which some deem as kufr, and he knows it's like kufr, but he does it because he enjoys it or he just has a desire for it. What is the way to repent for that?
This guy is at the brink, because what we always answer in our website, that watching material that contains kufr is sinful and a major sin, but is not kufr. So watching material that has magic, that has resurrecting the dead, that has jinn, usage of jinn and the likes, this is kufr. To act with such things, or fortune telling, this is kufr. But if someone watches it as a movie or a soap opera or reads a novel, this is a major sin or sinful, but it is not kufr unless he believes in it. So one has to refrain from it. Now, saying that a person enjoys it, this is problematic. I don't dare to say that this is kufr, but at the same time, I would refrain from saying that this is a major sin and not kufr. How would anyone enjoy seeing Allah being associated with others, or someone knowing the future, or someone claiming to have authority over thunder and lightning, and claims to be the son of God, as in Thor, for example, who's liked by many Thors like him? This is problematic to enjoy and to go all the way with such kufr. I would hesitate in saying that this is a major sin and not kufr, but I cannot say it is kufr. I refrain from commenting on this heinous and a major thing, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Sulayha from India.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Salamtullah.
My question is, my mom forbids me to talk to my uncle and aunt. If I do, she fights with them. My mom is Firon type. She does not want me to maintain kinship with my uncle and aunt because they did wrong with her and also hit my mother. But my mom is the one who says bad words and always initiate fighting with them. Should I maintain kinship with them? And sometimes my mom forbid me to talk to my sister and also to my dad. And if I talk to them, then she says bad words to them also. Jazakallah khairan.
Wajazakum. First of all, there is a rule in Islam which states that there is no obedience of anyone while disobeying Allah Azza wa Jal. Whether it's your dad, it's your mom, it's your husband, anyone who tells you to do haram, you must not obey them. So if your mom tells you not to speak to your dad or to your sister or to your uncles and aunts, you must ignore her, even if she becomes mad at you, even if she curses you, even if she curses them. They're adults, they can handle themselves, they can curse her back. Of course, you can't. And she will be held accountable on the day of judgment. But you have no excuse in severing your ties of kinship because of your mom's instructions. If she prohibits you to wear clothes, would you come out nude in front of everybody? You said, of course not, Sheikh. I said, Subhanallah. Why not? This is a major sin that she's ordering you to do, so you must not obey her. However, if you can contact them behind her back, that would be a win-win. But if not, then no problem in her getting angry and getting mad and cursing whomever she wants, but because you're obeying Allah and she's the one who's disobeying Allah Azza wa Jal. Muhammad from the UK.
Salam.
Wa alaikum salam.
I inherited a stamp book which is like quite a lot of decades old, and in there are some stamps with the names of Allah, and there are some postcards as well. And because it's decades old, some pages are clean, but others may be stained, and there may be like places with brown mold and stuff on. And some of the stamps with the name of Allah, well, one of them, there was ink on top of that from another stamp, which is stamped on top of, postage stamps. I also have a lot of written notes in English, some in translation, some in transliteration, of names of Allah, and also acts of worship, hadith and prophets. But I didn't take care of these because they're written in English, so I didn't know if they should be respected or not, so I left some on my floor. So overall, I'd like to know everything that we must respect in writing form or in printed image form, such as images of the two great masajid and any other masjid, and also in writing form. So I'd like to, of course, I know names of Allah should be respected.
Okay, Muhammad, this is taking too long. You've combined so many issues in one question, and this is not any fair. So coming to your stamp book, there's nothing wrong with the stains being or ink being on the name of Allah in a stamp or a postcard or whatever. There's no problem in that at all. You can keep it, you can try to clean it. If you keep it as it is, there's no sin in that. Other notes that have the names of Allah or other Islamic material written in English or transliteration also do not have the same value and respect that we would want when it's written in Arabic, because this is a sacred one. So the name of Allah, A-A-A-H, in English or in Latin letters has no amount of respect to it that we should pick it up from the floor and burn it or shred it, similarly to what is written in Arabic, for example, Allah. That's totally different. So I hope this answers your question. Sumaya from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Alaikum.
So my question is, the mandatory acts in Salah, like Allahu Akbar, the adhkar you say between the pillars, Sami Allahu liman hamida. If you forget to say it when you're coming from ruku', for example, and you remember it once you're standing and erect, do you have to say it, or
Yes.
it makes a difference?
No, you have to say it. Now, of course, you're wrong in saying it after you've reached the pillar, because these are known as takbiratul intiqal, the takbir that is to move from one pillar to the other. So it should be done between the two pillars. So if I'm in the standing position, want to go to sujood, I should say Allahu Akbar, not Allahu Akbar, then move, and not after reaching the sujood and saying Allahu Akbar. So it has to be in between. If I forgot and I reach already the sujood position, a lot of the scholars say that prayer is invalid. Some say this is sinful. And the most authentic opinion, inshallah, is that due to necessity of or ignorance or forgetfulness, this is valid. Once you say it, it does the job, and Allah knows best. Yunus from Germany.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
I didn't quite finish when I asked now. So if I wipe it with the towel, it's okay. But no, what if I doubt whether it's on a plate or not? Like, if I see a plate and then I don't see any nutmeg on there, but maybe it has been used. Maybe there's 0.1 grams left on it. Can I use the plate? Or do I say by default there's nothing on there? Or do I say when I see nothing, it's okay?
Maybe must be thrown in the dustbin. Words of doubt, such as maybe, perhaps, I think, I feel, these are words or phrases of doubt. We take them and throw them in the dustbin. Because if you open the door for maybe, you'll destroy your life. Maybe your mother, who you kiss and hug every morning, is not your biological mother. Maybe the water you're drinking, a lizard took a dip in it and came out, and it's all contaminated. So no, Islam is a religion of ease and simplicity. Something you don't see, something you don't have traces of, you can move on and assume that it is pure, and Allah knows best. Abdu from the US.
Yes, sorry, Sheikh, to go back on the original topic, but because I heard in the Quran, I think Allah says when you like hear those who like mock the verses of Allah, to like not sit with them because that would make you like them. So like I was just wondering, would that make us like, would that be like a state of kufr?
This ayah is ayah number 140, chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa. And the tafsir of the ayah, the most authentic opinion is that it does not make a person a kafir. It makes him as sinful as they are. إِنَّكُمْ إِذَنْ مِثْلُهُمْ, in their sin, not in their disbelief, not in leaving the fold of Islam unless you believe in it. And this is very important because it opens the door for wiswas and OCD in your own Islam. So the most authentic opinion is that إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ, you are then like them in their sin, not in their kufr. So I hope this answers your question. Do we have any more questions, or should we wrap it up? I think that this is all the time we have for today. Until we meet you next Saturday, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.